Okay, you have one side that you keep in school, and then you're able to express yourself when you get in here. You know, sometimes when in school you wouldn't be able to do that. You just have to keep it low.
I'd like to be an actress, but I know it's hard. You gotta work hard at it.
I need more practice before I can get on the stage with them.
To me, it was helpful in gym because, you know, the exercises we do, and when I get in gym, my muscles already be, you know, whatever, flexible.
I suppose the most impressive part about it, to me, has been the philosophy under the whole thing. It's just not something I'd thought about a great deal. The importance of educating in the arts being connected with educating feelings. And I hadn't thought about that, nor had I really approached most of the arts in terms of their components.
These people are participating in portions of a program which may well revolutionize the way the arts are perceived in our public schools. It's called Education in Aesthetic Awareness, and it's sponsored by the Cleveland Area Arts Council. What happens is that teachers are sensitized through training in art awareness, and they in turn are better able to enrich their students' lives. In Shaker Heights, Woodbury Junior High School students meet in regular class sessions. Some participate in theater, others in dance.
Opposition, because we have this vertical line and we have this horizontal line. We're going to try to go back down and make another vertical line with our bodies. Gracefully, of course. Where are we now? Vertical. Where are we now? Opposition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back up again. Okay. You understand those movements? You understand what parts are being used? All right. We do that just to warm up, to get everything pulled up and working. Then we talk about moving. Of course, if we weren't having both groups today, we'd do that 90,000 times. But since we are. All right, let's move all the way to the back of the stage. What we're going to do now is some locomotor skills. That's walking, running, leaping, etc., that you're going to see in the dance. We're going to do a very simple walk that you learn in beginning dance: ball, toe, lift, ball, toe, lift. All right? I'll move, and you watch. 1, 2, 3, and we're also doing spotting here. Spot the exercise. That means your eyes focuses on one particular thing. I don't care where you, and it keeps you going in a straight line. At least it should. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. So we don't get the chance to look at you like you do in drama when you're in acting. We have to follow. Our eyes have to focus on one particular object to keep the body going in a straight line. 1, 2, 3, begin. Ball, toe, point, 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 stop. I want you to watch the dance that the dancers are going to do now and see how many of the movements that we talked about earlier that you can identify. Also see if you can relate it to line and space that you've studied in theater. saw the dance performed by the dancers. We talked about some things. But give me your reaction, anything that you want to say about what you saw. Tell me what you saw.
I thought it was very professional the way it was done. The dancers knew what they were doing, and they were all in action and line.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments? No reaction?
It was good. It was just good.
Yes.
First 5 minutes.
Louder.
Everybody was in time to music.
Rhythm, good rhythm. Very good. That's something we talked about. Yes.
I liked it how they ran for a little while, then they just froze before they started.
I like the way you said that. Yes, really. Okay. So you saw a locomotive skill and then you saw a stationary movement. All right? Marnay?
Yeah, they were really together. They were like, they got into the music. They were like with the music.
Very good. Okay. Any other comments?
They had good eye vision. I mean, it was good eye contact. They
And
weren't
what do
looking
we
at us.
call that? Spotting. Very good spotting. We just talked about that. Okay. Now we want to go on and do the drama part so that the dancers have an opportunity to see some things that you've been doing on Tuesdays when we've been in gym. Mr. Harley is in charge of that segment, so Mr. Harley will now come forward. We'll take a back seat and we'll watch you for a while.
Well, in the segment of drama of the EAA class, we've been concerned with line also. And what we've been basically talking about is basic line within the stage itself, using the entire stage and thinking of lines, vertical and horizontal lines, in reference to upstage, downstage, stage right, stage left. And along with the body, using the body for a line, we're also concerned with the lines with the properties on stage itself. They help to create a certain line, whether it be vertical or horizontal, or even whether it be diagonal on stage. We're also concerned with lines in voice, the way the line is spoken and how it's interpreted by the audience as well as by the actors or actresses on stage. We have two students in the 7th grade, Susan Herbst and Julie Fuller. They're doing one segment from the show, The Effect of Gamma Rays on Man in the Moon Marigolds.
This play focuses on a mother and her teenage daughters. She has been abandoned by her husband, and she feels unwanted and desperately unhappy. She takes out her frustrations on her daughters by her eccentric appearance and behavior. In this scene, from The Effects of Gamma Rays on Man in the Moon Marigolds by Paul Zindel, Tilly, the younger daughter, is preparing to go to the school science fair to accept an award for her experiments with the marigolds. Tilly is unsure of herself, and Ruth, jealous of Tilly, has a need to upset her. As Ruth promotes Tilly's nervousness, Tilly tries to keep calm.
The only competition you have to worry about is Janice Vickery. They say she caught it near Princess Bay Boulevard and was still alive when she put it in the water.
Let me do that, please, Ruth.
I'm sorry I touched them, really.
Why don't you feed Peter?
Because I didn't feel like feeding Peter. Now I feel like feeding Peter. I heard that it skimmed for 3 minutes after she put it in because the water wasn't boiling yet. How much talent does it take to boil the skin off a cat, then stick the bones back together? That's what I want to know. Ugh, I had a dream about that, too. You know, I figure she did it in less than a day and ends up one of the top 5 winners. And you spend months growing atomic flowers.
Why don't you finish getting ready?
Finish? This is it.
Are you going to wear that sweater?
Look, don't worry about me. I'm not getting up on any stage. If I did, I wouldn't be cut dead wearing a horrible bow like that.
Mama put it in.
They're going to laugh you off the stage again, like when you cranked that atom in assembly. I didn't mean that. The one they're going to laugh at is Mama.
What?
I said the one they're going to laugh at is Mama. Oh, let me take that bow out.
It's all right.
Look, I don't want everyone making fun of you.
What made you say that about Mama?
Oh, I heard them talking in the science office yesterday. Mr. Goodman and Miss Hanley. She's getting 1263 to chaperone the thing tonight.
What were they saying?
Miss Hanley was telling Mr. Goodwin about Mama when she found out you were one of the top 5 winners. And Mr. Goodwin wanted to know if there was something wrong with Mama, because she sounded crazy over the phone. And Miss Hanley said she was crazy and always has been crazy. She can't wait to see what she looks like after all these years. Her nickname is to be Betty the Loon.
Ruth, you're hurting me.
She was just like you, and everybody thought she was a big weirdo. There, you look much better. Peter, if anyone stuck you in a pot of boiling water, I'd kill him. Do you know that? What do they call boiling the skin off a cat? I call it murder, that's what I call it. Do you know what they're all waiting to see? Mama's feathers. Miss Hanley said Mama blabs as though she were the Queen of England, as proper as can be. And her idea of getting dressed up is to put on all the feathers in the world and go as a great big bird. Always trying to get somewhere like a great big bird.
Don't tell Mama, please. It doesn't matter.
I was up there watching her get dressed, and sure enough, she's got the feathers out.
You didn't tell her what Miss Hanley said.
Are you kidding? I just told her I didn't like the feathers and didn't think she should wear any. But I bet she doesn't listen.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? Do you think I want to be left right out of the school tonight with Chris Burns there and all? Left right out of the school with your electric hair and her feathers and Miss Hanley splitting her sides.
Promise me you won't say anything, please.
On one condition.
What?
Give Peter to me.
The taxi's going to be here any minute, and I won't have any of this stuff ready. Have you seen my speech?
I mean it. Give him to me.
He belongs to all of us.
For me. All for me. What do you care? He doesn't mean anything to you anymore now that you've got those crazy plans.
Will you stop?
If you don't give him to me, I'm going to tell Mama that everyone's waiting to laugh at her.
Where are those typewritten cards?
I mean it! Give him to me!
Does he mean that much to you?
Yes.
All right.
All right. So we see that, what sort of lines did you see on stage? From their vertical and horizontal. Did you see any kinds of lines with their bodies and also in correlation with the properties? Right. And if you'll notice, the properties are also perhaps on a diagonal here because it makes it easier for you to see the 3 dimension of the object itself. Makes it very, very easy for you to see it and to notice it. We have the a slight separation of the chair away from the table. You can see each object clearly. And you also notice that they did not block each other when they spoke. They tried not to block each other so that you could see the person that was speaking and thereby hear their lines clearly.
I'm Susan Harding, and this is Christy Bixler, and we're in 9th grade at Woodbury Junior High School. And we're doing a scene from Act 1 of Barefoot in the Park, a comedy by Neil Simon. In this segment, I play Paul, and this is my wife, Corey, of just 6 days, and we've just moved into an apartment in New York.
I've got to be in court tomorrow morning. I've got my first case.
Well, what about tonight?
I have to go over the briefs. Marshall has to be in Washington tomorrow, and he asked me to take over with Frank, but it's really my case. Corey, baby, I'm going to be a lawyer.
That's wonderful. I just thought tonight it was going to be you and me.
We'll spend tomorrow night together. I sure hope I brought home those affidavits. I brought a black lace nightgown. Marshall had everything laid out when I got to the office. It looked simple enough. A furrier is suing a woman for non-payment of bills.
Well, Paul, I was going to cook you spaghetti with white clam sauce in a bikini.
We're representing the furrier. He made these 4 specially tailored coats for this lady on Park Avenue, and now she doesn't want the coats.
Then I found this great thing on A Street. It's a crossword puzzle with dirty words.
But now he can't get rid of the coats. She's only 4'8". He'd have to sell them to some rich little girl or something.
Then I was going to put on a record and do a Cambodian fertility dance.
The only problem is he didn't have a signed contract. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get you all hot and bothered, and you're summing up for the jury. The whole marriage is
excited. But you want me to be rich and famous, don't you?
Of course I do. During the day, but at night I want you to be here and sexy.
I will, just as soon as Birnbaum versus Gump is over. I'll tell you what. Tomorrow night is your night. We'll do whatever you want.
Something wild, insane, and crazy?
I promise.
Like what?
Well, I'll come home early and we'll wallpaper each other.
Oh, Paul, how wonderful! Can't we do it tonight?
No, not tonight, because I've got to work. Except where do I sit?
Oh, well, the furniture will be here by 5. They promised.
5? It's already 5:30.
Well,
What do
it'll
you
be
do, sleep in Bloomingdale's?
It'll be here, Paul. They're probably stuck in traffic.
Oh, what about tonight? I've got a case in court tomorrow. Maybe we should just check into a hotel.
I'm not checking into a hotel. We just checked out of a hotel. I want to stay in my apartment tonight.
But where? There's not even room for one in the stupid bathtub. There isn't even a bathtub. Where is the bathtub?
Yeah, well, I was going to tell you about that. See, they don't have bathtubs.
No bathtub?
There's a shower.
How am I going to take a bath?
You won't take a bath. You'll take a shower.
I don't like showers. I like baths. How am I going to take a bath, Corey?
You'll sit in the shower and hang your feet over the sink. Paul, I don't know. There just isn't a bathtub.
This is real cute. Oh. It's freezing in here. Isn't there any heat?
Of course there is. There's the radiator.
And it just so happens that the radiator's the coldest thing in the room?
Well, it's probably out. The boiler's probably out in the whole building.
No, because I remember it was warm coming up in the hall. See, it's nice and warm out here.
Well, it's probably because the apartment's empty.
The hall is empty too, but it's warm out here.
Well, it'll be just fine as soon as I get this fire started.
A fire? You'd have to keep the flame going night and day. I'm just gonna call the landlord.
Oh, well, he's not home.
Where is he?
In Florida. But don't worry, there's a handyman and he comes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So we freeze on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
He'll be here in the morning.
Well, what about tonight? I've got a case in court in the morning.
Will you stop saying it like you always have a case in court in the morning?
Well, what'll we do?
That's that.
I was very interested in this, what we saw today, because here are kids who are by no means exceptional, other than that they seem to be an average selection of junior high school kids who have some interest in the arts and that sort of thing. And I just wonder, do they get a whole lot out of this? Is this a new world that's opening up to them, or what? What do you think about that, Edna?
For some of them, it's a new world because some of them are coming into the program not having had dance or theater or anything of the sort. But some of them have studied dance at professional studios around Cleveland and so have some knowledge of it. But for the theater part, I really don't think so. I think they're coming into it cold and they are learning a lot. We've just started, so this was just like a beginning class for 2 months, or really a month and a half, because class didn't start until October. So we've just started teaching them the basic elements. They haven't had a chance to know what the process is going to do to them in the end, by the end of the year.
Linda, you're here as an observer from the Cleveland Area Arts Council, and it's after all your baby, this program. Tell me, is what you saw today typical of the kinds of things that are being done in schools around under this program?
Well, I think this is the only school that I know of that has set up a real class in education for aesthetic awareness. But we are seeing lots of other results in other schools. More time allotted to the arts, more priority for the arts, kids enjoying the arts more, teachers going together to performances and sharing that kind of thing. And actually the goal is really to change the priority of the arts in schools.
George, your students seem to be doing quite well with the, as far as talent is concerned. I was very impressed with the degree of professionalism that we saw in these 9th graders here. How did you achieve that?
Well, I think that one of the major points is the overall appreciation of what the work is giving to the student. I think having read the script, having actually looked at the characters closely, they began to let their inside creativity and imagination begin to go to work. And I think that's the key for the entire production.
And I think The whole thing that we're trying to do in the program is to get the kids in the end to appreciate the process as well as the product. Usually in junior high schools where you have the activities of dance or theater as a side thing and not as a class, all you have time to do is produce. There are a lot of other things that ought to go into the teaching of art. If we're going to learn to appreciate it, we've got to go through the process. We've got to learn to appreciate the process so that when we see it or when we perform it, we're doing more than producing.
I was impressed by the way that the kids could comment. Particularly, I was impressed by the comment on the line that people were crouching down when they were feeling sad and abandoned and so forth. I thought that was very impressive and showed a looking into theater in a way that's not usually done by junior high school kids. I think they can get more out of theater if they see things on that level.
That's true, and for the past few weeks that we had been working on the drama segment, we were concerned primarily with letting the student look at the production. Okay, they had each selected a specific work, a specific play, one cut. They selected how long they wanted to produce the play, pretty much, maybe 5 minutes, and the other students had a chance to watch it and then comment. So they were criticizing or making some type of critical judgment about that segment of the play. And so they're learning to comment.
So it got to be more than I liked it.
Right, right.
Audrey, you've been undergoing some training in education for aesthetic awareness as a teacher in the high school. Tell me, what have you learned from the program? What have you been exposed to? What's the sort of things you've been going through?
Well, I suppose the most impressive part about it, to me, has been the philosophy under the whole thing. It's just not something I thought about a great deal. The importance of educating in the arts being connected with educating feelings. And I hadn't thought about that, nor had I really approached most of the arts in terms of their components. I've used them. You know, you use them to show something about history or about the times, but not confronted the work of art. And so that's a whole new world. And right now I'm just beginning to learn what the various components are of the arts, and then we talk about them a lot at the high school. We have a group. We have six from Shaker High taking the course. So there's a lot of talking, and we bring other people in the staff that are interested in the arts in it. We don't know yet, you know, what we're going to do with this in the high school. Some of us, in small ways, use it in our classroom already. I mean, we're trying. We're taking the first steps.
What have you used specifically that you can think of?
When we were studying colonial America, I used slides of art to show them various things about colonial society, slides of visual art and architecture. I've done that before. It gives them a better idea of how far the colonies have progressed when they see the sophistication of the art and the architecture. But this year, what I did when I did the same thing, but I did it in terms of, I tried to help them really look carefully at these arts and talk about the work themselves. And I was, you know, very pleased at how well they use their eyes, if they, with a little help to stop and what are they seeing. Mostly I've done just the art and the architecture of colonial America. Friday I hope to do some of the, we're into the West, I'm going to do some transcendental art and the same thing. Something about history, but something about the art too.
But don't worry, because like the handyman said, he'd come Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So we freeze.
With this new approach to utilizing the arts in school, more and more students will be developing their imaginations. If you have been intrigued by this Education for Aesthetic Awareness program, the students at Woodbury are putting on an EAA show on January 16th. They'd be glad to see you. Thanks for watching Shaker Life. I'm Douglas Drake.